The producers of Empire have announced Jussie Smollett's character will not appear in the season's final 2 episodes. This as the actor denies allegations he staged a hate crime to boost his career and salary, we're told by the police superintendent there. The executive producers released this statement saying, quote, "We are placing our trust in the legal system as the process plays out. We are also aware of the effects of this process on the cast and crew members who work on our show. And to avoid further disruption on set, we have decided to remove the role of Jamal from the final 2 episodes of the season," end quote. I want to bring in now Libby Locke, a defamation attorney. Libby, so good to get your expertise on this. First of all, with the charges against Smollett, and you talk about distraction on set, it's even more than that. He's technically a suspect and also maybe a witness in a case.
Yeah, absolutely, Harris. This is a case where he has been charged with disorderly conduct, filing a false police report through Illinois prosecutors. You saw the police commissioner there and the district attorney talking about the real disruption that happened in the city of Chicago and the cost to the taxpayers. He could face, 1 to 3 years in prison for this kind of false report if he, in fact, made that false report. And also pay restitution to the city of Chicago for all the time and expense that those officials had to go through to bring these charges if he's ultimately found guilty.
Libby, the New York Post, also owned by the company that owns us, did some reporting, and others have today, too, that Jussie Smollett had been arrested for DUI and lied to police about his identity at that time. How does a past like that play into a case like what he's facing now?
Well, it's a really good question, Harris. There are rules of evidence that some prior convictions may be admissible, others not admissible in a criminal trial. It depends on whether the prior criminal conviction goes to his truthfulness and whether he has conduct that is truthful or not, and that kind of character. Here, it'll be an interesting question as to whether that prior conviction comes in. But the other thing that people have been talking about, he may very well face criminal charges here. The federal code makes it a crime to use the mail, the U.S. mail, to attempt to defraud somebody. And that's going to be very interesting to see if federal authorities attempt to bring those charges. And those carry with it much more significant penalties, up to 20 years in jail.
Oh, wow.
And so those are much more serious charges and longer prison terms if those charges are brought.
So, Libby, am I wrong about this? Or it seems like in the last 24 hours or so, because I've been talking with attorneys on the show as well, that the charges or the possibilities are widening.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, the federal mail charges, it's an interesting theory because usually you see these mail charges in bribery cases where an individual sends a letter to someone saying, "I'm going to disclose certain facts about you if you don't pay me money," and the federal government says you can't use the mail to attempt to defraud somebody. Here, the allegations are a bit different. Mr. Jussie was alleged to have sent a letter to himself. And so there are a lot of questions that still need answering. Did he present that letter to his bosses at Fox? Did he attempt to use that letter to get more money in his salary negotiations with Fox for his position on his role in Empire? We don't know the answers to those questions yet. But
it's a lot. It's why I framed it in kind of a tongue-in-cheek way, but also you become a witness when you're mailing stuff to yourself. Libby Locke, thank you very much. I appreciate it.